Hello everyone and welcome to the USA Pan Kitchen. My name is Nikki and today we are going to be taking you through some of our favorite game day recipes. We are going to be using our USA pans to create the most delicious game day spread you have ever eaten, so stick with us, we're going to show you how it's done. For our first recipe, we are going to do a dip. I feel like every game day appetizer spread has to have a good dip. This one checks all the boxes. It's super easy. A few simple ingredients, plus it's delicious, and you can even assemble it ahead of time, which I think makes it even better. So our ingredients, we've just got some shredded cheese here. I've done some mild cheddar. I shredded it myself. That's because I had a block of it in the fridge. If you want to take a shortcut and buy the pre-shredded cheese, I think that's totally fine. I've got a softened brick of cream cheese here. I've got a tub of sour cream, which is 16 ounces. I've got a packet of ranch seasoning, and I've got some bacon. I guess I should explain, this is called crack dip. I think once you try it, you might understand why. I didn't name it, that's just what it's called. And this is gonna be warmed in the oven. So I have my bowl here. We're gonna start out with our cream cheese. I'm gonna get that going. I'm gonna mix that with my ranch and then mix the sour cream in. That's looking good to me. Now I'm gonna go ahead and get the sour cream in there. Okay, so we've got softened cream cheese, our ranch seasoning, our sour cream. I'm gonna go ahead and put the cheese, mix the cheese in now. I'm gonna hold back a little of it just to sprinkle it on top. Okay, I'm gonna set this aside and we're gonna talk bacon here for a quick second. I have cooked up some bacon. I just wanna explain to you, and I say this all the time, I'm like a broken record, but if you're making a large amount of bacon, the easiest, best way to do this, hands down, is on a sheet pan. What I mean by that is, this is our half sheet pan. I've lined it with parchment paper, as you can see here. Basically, if you're cooking with anything that's high fat and you're cooking it at a high temperature, which bacon checks both of those boxes, you're gonna wanna line your USA pan. So what I've done is I lined it with parchment and I had the bacon just laying right on top of here. Pop this into the oven, turn it on to 425, cook it for about 20 to 30 minutes. And then when it comes out, you're gonna drain that on a paper towel. So you see, I've let this sit for a minute, and watch how easy cleanup this is. You just pull this out and toss it away. Like, I mean, I will wash the pan, but you can see how clean the pan came. It is the cleanest, easiest way to make bacon. We need about 3/4 cup of chopped bacon for the dip. I'm just gonna get to chopping here. So depending on the kind of bacon that you use, if it's thick or thin, you probably are not going to need the whole pound of bacon. You would just need about 3/4 of a pound of bacon. Okay, so let's talk pans. I'm gonna put this dip in our 8-inch round cake pan. I love these pans for dips. We have so many different sizes of the round pan. We've got 12, 10, 9, 8, 6, and 4-inch. So these pans are great, whatever quantity dip you're making. I also forgot pie pan. Could do dips in the pie pan as well. So I love to use these round cake pans for dips. So we're just gonna get our mixture spread into the cake pan. We're gonna pop this into a 400-degree oven for about 20 to 30 minutes until the cheese is melted and it's warm. So we are back. This is smelling so good, you guys. We baked our dip for 30 minutes in the oven. I topped it with a little more shredded cheese and bacon, and I put some parsley on there just for color. But as I was doing that, I was thinking, I think green onion would be fantastic in this. I didn't have any, but you know, if you have some and you wanna try it, go ahead. I have the dip set on our 1/4 sheet pan with some chips. I think that's a nice way to serve it. I'm gonna go ahead and get it in here because I've been waiting to try this. So good, you guys. It is cheesy, ranch, bacon. How could that be bad? It's like gooey, warm, delicious. The crunch from the chip and the bacon makes it just really, really delicious. We hope you try this on your next game day, and we've got some more recipes coming your way. Okay, rolling into our second game day recipe, we are going to be making chicken wings. I know what you're thinking. I was skeptical about baked chicken wings initially, but when I tested this recipe at home, I had my 20-year-old son try them, and he claimed they were the best wings ever. So I feel like it's pretty high praise because my son loves wings and orders them all the time at restaurants and at fast food. So if he loved them, I think you will too. I think wings are also an essential part of any, game day snacking kind of situation. So I have 4 pounds of wings, and I have them on our extra large sheet pan. This is the extra large. As you can see, 4 pounds of wings takes up a lot of space. So I'm using the extra large. And if you're wondering, do I really need to make that many? My son ate 2 pounds by himself. So if that gives you a sense of how to plan on how many to make. These are on paper towels. There are 3 parts of this recipe that you really need to follow. Very specific. I'm usually not like that, but if you want these to turn out really good, you're gonna wanna stick to 3 things that I tell you. And the first one is to make sure your wings are very, very, very dry. So I have them here on paper towel. Now I'm gonna move on to making a little bit of a seasoning for them. The first thing that we're gonna use is baking powder. This is also one of the things that you cannot skip. You want to use aluminum-free baking powder. This is what helps the wings stay crispy. So I'm gonna go in here I'm gonna use 3 tablespoons. Next, I'm gonna add some paprika. I'm gonna go with 1.5 teaspoons of that. Same amount of garlic powder. The last things are some salt and pepper. That is all I am using today. Again, I want to stress to you guys the importance of using that aluminum-free baking powder, because that's the second most important part of this recipe. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna go in with some paper towels and blot these wings off on the top, make sure that they're completely dry, and then get them coated in my seasoning. We've got the wings all coated. Now we've got our extra large sheet pan. I'm going to line mine with parchment paper because if you have read our use and care information, you would know that if you are cooking any foods that are greasy or fatty and you're cooking them at a high temperature, you're gonna wanna line your pan because that grease and that fat can adversely affect the nonstick coating. And you don't wanna do that. So I'm gonna put some parchment in there, and then this is our bakeable rack, so it's a baking cooling rack. I'm gonna sit this right inside of the extra large half sheet pan. And I wanna mention that this is the 3rd piece of this recipe that's really important. You don't want to skip on using the rack. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the wings on here, skin side up. Okay, our wings are ready to go in the oven. These are going to go in at 425 degrees. We're going to let them bake for about 20 minutes and then flip them, and then about another 15-20 minutes more. So total bake time for these is going to be about 40 to 50 minutes. I can't really give you an exact because if you have larger wings, they're gonna take a little bit longer. But it's usually around that time frame, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, sometimes an hour if you have really big ones, but you wanna make sure that you flip them after the first 20 minutes. So we baked our wings for about 45 minutes. As you can see, they're nicely golden brown here. I'm gonna whip together a quick, sweet, spicy buffalo sauce to coat them with. At this point, you could either eat these as is or use your own sauce recipe or a bottled barbecue, whatever you like, but I'm gonna show you how to make a quick sweet and spicy sauce. I have here 3/4 cups of brown sugar, which I know is a lot, but it's gonna be spread across a lot of wings, and we're saving some calories because these aren't deep fried. So into that, I have put 1/3 cup of buffalo sauce and a tablespoon of water. I'm just gonna cook this on medium until the sugar dissolves. And then I'm gonna coat those wings and place it back in under the broiler just to caramelize it a little bit. So we put these under the broiler for a few minutes, just kind of caramelize that sauce on top. Hopefully I don't burn the roof of my mouth on this, but I'm gonna go ahead and take a bite. It's still pretty hot. These are crispy, juicy. The sauce makes them sweet and spicy. You've got to try these, you will not regret it. So rolling on to our 3rd game day recipe, I decided to change it up a little bit and make a veggie pizza. This is not your typical pizza with, red sauce and cheese and warm. This is gonna be a cold pizza. Since we're doing a cheesy dip and wings, those are kind of heavy food, so I wanted to bring some freshness and lightness to the next recipe. So this is similar to, when people serve a crudité at parties with vegetables and dip. This is just kind of in pizza form. So It's beautiful, it's colorful. Like I said, it's light and fresh. It's a little bit nice change of pace to the other foods that we're having. So this is what it looks like finished. Absolutely smells so good, delicious. We are going to get started by using our 16-inch round pizza pan. And to do this, the first step is to use crescent rolls for the crust. I have here large sized crescent rolls that I'm gonna press into the bottom. The crescent rolls come in different sizes. They also come in sheets, so you could use that if you want, but basically we're just gonna cover the bottom of this pizza pan with the dough. And because I have the rolls, I have the seams, I'm gonna make sure those are all pinched closed. Okay, so I've got the crust pressed into the bottom. You can see what that looks like here. This is gonna go into a preheated 375-degree oven for about 12 to 15 minutes until it's brown. So we've baked our crust. I did wanna mention that I had a few crescent rolls left over, and I'm just gonna bake those off separately and give them to my kids as a snack. So I wanted to mention that you may have a few left over. So we've got our crust here, we've let it cool a little bit, and now we're gonna move on to making our sauce for the pizza and our toppings. I have 16 ounces of sour cream here that I'm gonna mix with 1 package of ranch seasoning. So I'm keeping it really simple. Another way, if you wanted to make this recipe even lighter, you could use Greek yogurt as the base for your dip. We have this mixed up. I'm gonna go ahead and spread this on top of our crust. At this point, you can feel free to top this however you want. I have a little bit of a variety of veggies here that I've chopped up. You do want them to be on the smaller side so that when you cut and serve this, they stay on your slice of pizza. I've got broccoli and some carrots I've shredded, some red pepper, cauliflower, and black olives. And then we're gonna do a sprinkle of cheese. But like I said, at this point, you can top this however you want. And what's a pizza without some cheese? So I'm just gonna use some pre-shredded cheese and sprinkle that on top. And that is it for this one, guys. I think this makes a great presentation. It brings some color and freshness to your party. I do wanna mention that this is one that you're gonna wanna make a little bit ahead of time because it is best served chilled. So you're gonna wanna refrigerate this for a little bit to make sure everything is nice and cold when you serve it. I like to cut mine into squares and serve it. So I'm using a plastic knife here to protect the coating of my USA pan. I'm just gonna go ahead and cut a piece over here. I'm not gonna cut the whole thing. So that's what it looks like. See, it looks like from the side, it's like a nice little pizza there with your dip and your veggies on top. It's so good with those crisp cold vegetables and the tangy ranch on top of that crescent dough. It's really delicious.